Vermeil.
Joe Theismann has just scurried in for a touchdown. It is 14-0 Washington. And as George Allen said before the ball game got underway, it is so difficult for one professional team to beat another twice. And we have about 45 witnesses to that wearing Philadelphia uniforms. 14-0 Washington. 5:25 left in the third. Mark Mosley ready to kick off. Henry is deep. Jamona on his right. Camfield on his left. And it'll bounce at Jamona. And he's off to the races, to the 25, to the 30, across the 30, and down he goes. He's the nephew of Dick Vermeil. John McDaniel down there to make the tackle, number 80.
Then, speaking of Dick Vermeil, he has done an outstanding job, a great job with the Eagles. He's rebuilt this ball club. He didn't have many picks. He's got leadership. He's dedicated. He's a fine family man. I just can't say enough good things about him.
They do say he's a workaholic. He'll spend most of the night working to get ready, and we hope that doesn't take too much of a toll.
And Leonard Tost has supported him. Leonard Tost has helped him in every way.
Montgomery is back in there, so he's back to work. He tries to get around Wysocki, and while that battle's going on, Tony Peters decks him at the 35-yard line, but it was Pete Wysocki who jammed things up, number 50.
Has Carmichael caught a pass? His streak is in jeopardy.
It's very much in jeopardy. He has not caught a pass. They've only thrown once or twice in his general direction. When you're 6'8", anything is in your general direction. There he is, Harold Carmichael, number 17. 103 consecutive games that started against Washington in 1972. He needs 3 catches today to move past John Gilliam in national history. Montgomery to Carmichael, to North, and back to Jaworski, and he got away from Bacon, throws it in the air to nobody.
Well, he wanted to go deep. He was covered, the receiver was covered by Mark Murphy, 29. You look deep first. This is what we call a flea flicker, a gadget, a throwback. Worked pretty good up to that time, but nobody.
That's Bacon, almost
got him. Nobody
Nobody
covered, nobody open downfield. Now he dumps it off in 17's area, in Carmichael's area.
After being sacked 6 times, they try a little flea flicker.
We once lost a ball game on that too. Kansas City beat us on a play like that.
3rd and 8 on the Eagle 36. Jaworski under pressure, throws it away and turns to Harris. Joe Jones was coming in. Sizemore picked him up, but it was just enough pressure.
He threw the ball retreating. When you're throwing the ball going backwards, you usually underthrow it, and that's what happened. He threw the ball into the ground. Harris had no chance to get it.
Last game, 2 weeks ago, Jaworski threw only 12 times and 1 handling. He has now thrown 12 times today, only 3 completions, but he has completed for only 33 yards, and he's been sacked for 51. That's a minus 18. Runniger kicking. Hardiman is deep on his own 25, and Runniger drills it nicely. Hardiman making the reception at his own 17. Still on his feet, John Shara brought him down at the 30-yard line, number 21. So Washington will put it in play, 1st and 10, on their own 31-yard line. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third. 14-0 Redskins.
The more aerodynamic shape a vehicle has, the easier it slips through the air. And that's what happened to this pickup truck, announcing the first new truck of the 80s, the new Ford. It's aerodynamically designed, so it's more slippery than last year, has less drag, with the best gas mileage rating of any American-built pickup. And there's all that Ford-built toughness, twin I-beam suspension, and big payloads, too. Ford, aerodynamically designed for the fuel needs of the 80s. Built. Ford Tough.
A great deal of time and care go into the production of a fine play, just as they go into the making of a fine wine. Paul Masson's Rhine Castle. The taste is smooth, flavorful, delicious. Paul Masson wines taste so good because they're made with such care. What Paul Masson said nearly a century ago is still true today. We will sell no wine before it's time.
It's a CBS Sports Special. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, see the 1979 Turf Classic live. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
The CBS Sports Special, the Turf Classic, next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live from Aqueduct Racetrack. A lot of people smiling in Washington, 14-0 Redskins, and the Skins put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line. Thompson in a slot left inside Bugs. Malone is on a wing, and John Riggins all alone and pays the price for being all alone as Johnson and company hammer him down.
Johnson played that perfectly. He played it like you want a nose man. He controlled the center, Kazil, got rid of him and made the tackle.
Charlie
Beautiful.
Johnson coming back off knee surgery the end of last year.
He's got Kazil. Riggins cuts back. Beautiful. That's picture book defense.
So 2nd and 10 on the Redskin 30. And we have 3:34 left in the third. Riggins staying into block. Theismann has it bounced away from the intended receiver, and that's Gene Fugit, the tight end. Meanwhile, on the scoreboard, Cincinnati in the Battle of Ohio, leading Cleveland 14-7 in the third. Miami and New England, look at that one, 14-13. Pete Johnson carried in for the Cincinnati lead, and New England now leading by 1. And you can see the Jets leading Oakland 14-10 in the third.
That last pass was a little bit behind Gene Fugit. He should have had it, but it was thrown behind him. It was a delayed pattern underneath. Another possession type throw. Let's see if he goes to Danny Bugs. It's 3rd and 10.
3:26 left in the third quarter. 14-0 Washington. Harmon and Hardiman in the backfield. Theismann with Humphrey around him, but he got away. And he will be dragged down at the last minute by Ken Clark, number 71, after Humphrey put all the pressure on him. And then Hairston came in to make sure he stayed down.
This is the first real good rush that the Eagles have had. Humphrey was in there.
Here comes Clark to get him. And then there's Hairston.
This is what the Eagles need to get back in this game. A big play, punt return, something to get that offense field position.
4th and 31. The ball is on the Redskin 9. Wally Henry is back at midfield. Mike Bragg has to root it out of the end zone. Good snap. The Eagles are coming, and he got it away. Henry retreating, fair catch at the 45. We can take another look at the Eagles. Boy, they
watch
flushed
the ball
cover.
go through Mike's hands into his body. He still got it off. He felt the rush.
He's only had 2 blocked in 7 years.
And watch the things we do. If you could see the cars and trucks we're working on for you, you'd say incredible. Ford, that's incredible.
Introducing the Incredible Ford Factory Tour. Come and see the incredible things we're doing to produce a new generation of more fuel-efficient cars and trucks.
If you could see tomorrow the way it looks to us today, you'd say incredible. Ford, that's incredible.
To take the Incredible Ford Factory Tour, write us for information.
The Philadelphia Eagles come into this game with a 5-game winning streak. That's the longest since 1961. Sonny Jurgensen's first year. The Eagles have not won 6 in a row since 1960. That was their last championship season. And Joe Theismann getting a left side sprayed, and Washington leading the Eagles 14-0 with 2:44 left in the third. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 45. Jaworski has been sacked 6 times. Can't throw one way, does throw the other, and he's got Smith for a first down at the 45.
A great job by Jaworski. A heck of a job. He was almost sacked. Now watch him. Takes a snap from the I formation. He wants to go downfield. They're covered. Now he wants to go to the back, and he's covered. Now he throws downfield.
Charlie Smith making the reception. So it is 1st and 10, and they'll spot the ball on the Redskins 44. And the Eagles have not been able to score today. Carmichael wide right and Smith left. Jaworski quick out, and he's got his man Smith again, and he would be awfully close to the first down. Wysocki and Parrish bringing him down.
Well, they have to get the ball to Carmichael to keep that string going. I believe he needs 2 more games to break or tie the record, Ben.
Well, they better just worry right now about getting in that end zone. 14-0. And Jaworski, as you can see, he has passed for 53 yards. He was sacked for 51 yards. He has it 2nd and 1. The ball is just inside at about the 34. And they really have only inches, so they give it to Montgomery, and he picks up plenty to the 30, fumbles, and I believe Philadelphia got it back. They did. Keith Krepley, the tight end, is the man who saved it as he fell on the fumble. That's about the 4th time that Montgomery has had the ball fly out of his hands, much to the dismay of Dick Vermeil.
Yes, and it looks like, as we see it again, the replay, he didn't have good possession of the ball. Now watch him as he comes in here. Ball's knocked loose before he reached the line of scrimmage by Talbot.
1st and 10 from the 30. And they maybe pick up a yard or 2. Not much of a play as Jaworski trying on a keeper on a bad handoff. And Wisely electing to hold on to it himself, but that's a wasted play. 2nd and 8.
Jaworski likes to run a bootleg in here where the backs go one way and he goes the other, but that wasn't a bootleg. That was just poor ball handling. Monty Coleman came in the game for the Redskins.
2nd and 8 from the 28. Jaworski trying to find the combination. He has Carmichael left, Smith right. Smith's been successful. Carmichael has not. Jaworski looking over towards Smith, and it's picked off by Lamar Parrish. And Parrish has run out of bounds across the 30-yard line. His 7th interception and the 10th turnover in his last 9 games.
Well, if we can see that again, he telegraphed where he's going to throw the ball. Watch, he's looking at him all the way. Threw the ball a little bit late. Parrish got the jump. No chance. Throwing the ball to 85, Smith. Parrish read that all the way. The timing was off. Beautiful play by Parrish. 1st and 10 on the Washington 33. The 7th interception of the year for Lamar Parrish. He's number 1 in the NFC. Heisman pitching back to Ike Forte and dragged down slowly, but he keeps going for a couple. Hairston tried to get him and slid down his legs as time is running out. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Washington 14, Philadelphia nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station. Telegraph.
Meet Dr. Charlie Nichols, the world's greatest operator. But when he meets the girl of his dreams, she wants him to stop making house calls. The CBS Wednesday movie at 9, each Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Ladies after Archie while Murray's after the tax lady. And it's Julie's wedding on one day at a time. But everyone's in for a big surprise. Next on Alice.
I love you.
Then it's a wild Halloween party for the Jeffersons when Louise witnesses a murder. All Sunday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
As we go into the 4th quarter, it is all Washington. They have completely shut down the Philadelphia Eagles, and from the looks of things, Jack Pardee will have caught Dick Vermeil today. They will each be 6 and 2. Then, of course, it depends on whether St. Louis can upset Dallas. 2nd and 5 from the Washington 38. The second man is Ike Forte, trying to go wide and succeeds. Gets out across the 45 and picks up a 1st down. Frank LeMaster making the tackle, but ever since the game started, the Eagles have looked flat.
That's right, Ben. The Redskins came out, as we said at the top of the show, as if they're getting ready for the Dallas Cowboys, and they hate the Dallas Cowboys more than any team in football.
It must have been also very difficult for Philadelphia to get up, knowing that they had handled Washington so easily 2 weeks ago.
Well, the Eagles still have a chance, but they're going to have to play a lot better football to get back in here.
First and 10, the ball just across the 45-yard line. John Riggins trying to go outside, a block by Forte, and on his own, he brings it into Philadelphia territory.
John has natural strength. And as you said, he made that on his own. He picked up 4 yards on his own. They dogged 41, Randy Logan, on that play. They're taking chances. The defense is trying to force something to get back in this ball game.
2nd and 4 on the Eagle 49-yard line. The Redskins with 13:49, and they're leading 14-0. So all the heat and all the pressure on Philadelphia. Slot left. Theismann's going over to the left to Danny Buggs, and Herman Edwards drives him out of bounds. About the 46-yard line. So they picked up 3. It should be about 3rd and 1.
Theismann's been working over on Edwards quite a bit, throwing in front of him.
Danny Buggs, who played for the Giants when he joined Washington in 1977, the first start he ever made was against Philadelphia. That's when Charlie Taylor was hurt.
Yes.
So 3rd and 1. The ball on the Eagle 46-yard line. Theismann to Riggins, and there he goes. He just won't go down. And they finally bring him down inside the 15 in the battle with Herman Edwards.
Well, they're doing the right thing, giving the ball. Let's watch this. Just a reverse pivot. Now watch 46. Herman Edwards trying to tackle Riggins. You got to charge car fare for that ride. Picked up 10 yards after he was hit.
First and 10 on the Eagle 13. How about this comparison? Riggins has rushed for 105 yards. Wilbert Montgomery, 31 yards. Theismann going to Harmon, and he's stacked up immediately by number 65, Charlie Johnson. But there's no way Herman Edwards is going to bring John Riggins down by the necktie.
That's the best thing Riggins does is power running, not fooling anybody, just take them on. Big, strong legs, keeps them moving.
So Theismann is holding all the cards. Herman Edwards has a few cobwebs shaken loose after that long ride. 2nd and 8 from the 11. Thompson in the slot left inside McDaniel. And it'll be Ike Forte fumbled. Forte tried to make the cut and left the ball behind him, but Washington recovered. Roger Staubach has just picked up another touchdown, a 10-yard pass to Tony Hill. Dallas 17, St. Louis 6. So it looks like a two-way tie for second. Dick Vermeil's Eagles and Jack Pardee's Redskins. And, of course, they're both in a great spot for a wild card spot. They could very well be playing each other a 3rd time in December.
They could, Ben. Now, here's Buggs and Hardiman in there. Passing situation.
3rd and 6 from the 9. Buggs goes right. Harmon and Hardiman set up behind Theismann. It'll be a delay game. Theismann taking a little too long as they made the substitution. We have 11:20 left in the game. And it would appear, should Washington punch over from here now, they would ice this thing.
Even if they get a field goal here, they're in great position. The Eagles haven't threatened all day.
Delay the game. Number 7, offense, 3rd down.
So the Eagle 5-game winning streak, the longest that they have enjoyed since 1960, and that's very much in jeopardy. And the Skins have everything in control right now, and of course the Eagles have Jaworski and Montgomery both banged up. 3rd and 11 from the 14. Theismann going to the right side to John McDaniel. He took it away from Wilson and goes out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
Well, the Eagles dogged him to put a little pressure on him, get some rush. So it made a one-on-one situation.
4th and 3 now on the 6.
He still has time to throw. Knocks him out of bounds.
Mark Mosley, who has kicked 13 out of 16. He kicked one from 34 yards out, and they canceled it. So this spot now, the spot of the hold, will be at the 13-yard line. It's a 23-yard field goal attempt. Theismann holds. The kick is good. No flags on the field. So with 11 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game, Washington a resounding 17. And the Philadelphia Eagles scrabble.
You know, it does my heart good to see a woman of your depth and reception going natural in public.
It does my heart good to see they even let you out in public.
That's nice of you to say, but tell me, why do you like natural?
Oh, this light beer and I have a lot in common. You know, classy package, terrific taste.
Yeah, natural aging. I mean, natural has the smooth, clean taste that comes from slow natural aging.
Keep trying.
Really, I have extinct affliction for all women of your gender. I raise you to the highest pinnacle.
Can a 1980 Ford LTD priced about $7,300 ride as quietly as a $65,000 Rolls-Royce? Both were tested under identical conditions, over smooth roads, over rough roads, at 20, 40, and 55 miles per hour. And the LTD rode just as quietly as the Rolls-Royce. Incredible? Not for LTD, because LTD is so solidly built, so well engineered. Ford LTD, as quiet as a Rolls-Royce.
Washington leading Philadelphia 17-0, 11-13 left in the game. And how about this bulletin? In the St. Louis-Dallas game, Dallas had scored to lead 17-6, and Roy Green must have taken the kickoff in Clayton, Missouri, because he returned it 108 yards for a touchdown. Meanwhile, Wally Henry would love to bust one and get the Eagles off the ground, and here comes the kickoff. It's high and down the right side. Henry from the 6 to the 20, 25, and down in the heat to the 27-yard line. Fritz, among others, down there to get him. So the Eagles, who have been unable to do anything, will put it in play. Jaworski 5 for 15 for 53 yards, but he has been sacked 6 times for 51. So the Eagle passing game is a +2 yards. Montgomery is averaging less than 3 yards in 11 carries. Jaworski has had to scramble on a bad ankle 3 times for 22 yards. 1st and 10 from the 27. Jaworski deep down the left side to Carmichael, and he just led him by less than a foot. Tony Peters right there with him.
They're covering him long and short all the time. That's one of the reasons they haven't screened the 17 over there. They have a man right on him, covering him front and back, long and short. He was open. The ball was just a little too far.
Next week, Washington will play the New Orleans Saints. And you can see New Orleans polishing up its act, leading Detroit 10-0 halftime. That game will be here at RFK Stadium because the Skins have been on the road 4 straight, winning 3 of the 4. 2nd and 10 from the 27 for Jaworski. And Jaworski has Krefli, the tight end, and he's at the 40, and Kenny Houston drags him down just across the 40.
Well, you know, Ben, their only chance right now is to put the ball in the air, get some big plays, need a lot of leadership on offense, and need a break or two to get back in this ball game.
That's just enough for the first down, that completion to Keith Krefli. So 1st and 10 with 10:28 left in the game. And it's 17-0 Washington. Jaworski over the middle, and he has Harris. And Harris is tied up, but he won't go down. Olkowitz had him, but he needed help. And finally, Monty Coleman drills him to the turf.
Jaworski deserves a lot of credit because no question he's playing in pain. He's staying in there. He's taking a pounding all day. Shows good leadership and character on his part.
So 2nd and 6 for the Eagles on their own 45-yard line. 17-0 Washington. Carmichael right, Smith left. Jaworski unable to hook up with Carmichael all day, and this time he overshoots Montgomery coming out of the backfield. Monty Coleman right there with him. And all the while, Tony Peters is covering Carmichael like a stepladder.
Well, it would have taken a perfect pass to hit the receiver that time. Watch. Monty Coleman's right on him. Good inside position on him all the way.
So it is 3rd and 6 for Jaworski on the Eagle 45. He is 7 for 19, has had 1 interception. And the tip-off is his attempts. 2 weeks ago, he only had to throw the ball 12 times. Carmichael in a slot inside Fitzke right. Jaworski has Charlie Smith. And he's to the 30, 25, and to the 20-yard line. Mark Murphy brought him down.
Well, that's one of the big plays they needed.
And Smith, who was shaken up after making the catch, goes limping off the field.
They gave Jaworski good time. Look at the protection he has right here, surveying the field.
They know he can't run now with that bad ankle.
Yes. And Smith runs well after the catch.
Well, they're spotted at the Washington 21-yard line. 1st and 10 Eagles, 8:50 left in the game. 17-0 Washington. Jaworski going to alley-oop it to Carmichael. No good. He caught it twice. Tony Peters was there. He had it on his hands, went up to catch it a second time, couldn't do it.
They had the right play. They had a one-on-one situation with Tony Peters. Just a matter of execution. This is what they used to try to do with Pat Fisher. Ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. That's what you want. 6'8" against 5'11".
So there is 6'8". Number 17, Harold Carmichael. He's the hungriest man in town. He's been outside the candy store all day. He has been totally shut out. 2nd and 10 from the 21. Carmichael inside Fitzke in a slot left. Jaworski under heat from Lorch, and he fumbles. And I think Coy Bacon recovered it. Yep, Coy Bacon is on the ball, and Washington takes over.
That ought to do it, Ben. If they scored in there, they had a chance to come back.
Another frustrating moment in the life of Ron Jaworski.
Lorch knocked it loose.
If a man's favorite threads prematurely lose their threads, and the seams in his slacks seem to disappear, then he needs clothes from Levi's Sportswear. Levi's slacks, blazers, and suits hold their great looks because they're sewn to the tough standards that made the Levi's name famous for durability. Men's clothes from Levi's Sportswear, where quality never goes out of style.
Spark plugs, buy 7, get 1 free sales on right now. Participating outlets where you see this poster.
Thanks, AC.
Americans are learning that if their car's plugs are misfiring, a tune-up with new AC spark plugs can help improve gas mileage. Thanks, AC. Now's the time to tune up because AC Delco is making it possible for you to get 8 AC spark plugs for the price of 7.
Thanks, AC.
Tune up with AC. Buy 7, get 1 free.
Thanks, AC.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see the light heavyweights. Plus, the battle of the super heavyweights, the world's strongest men competition. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
A great fight, and the world's strongest men, Part 5. That's the last episode, the refrigerator race in the tug-of-war. It ought to be something. Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I would hate to see a tug-of-war today. Carl Lorch and Coy Bacon have been playing tug-of-war all day with Ron Jaworski. And Bacon recovering Jaworski's fumble after Lorch put on the pressure. 1st and 10 on the Skins 27, and John Riggins having a big day. Grabbed from behind by John Bunting, and down he goes just shy of the 35-yard line. So Washington has done all of their objectives. They have shut down Montgomery, they have sacked Jaworski, and they've been able to more or less push Philadelphia offensively around.
And you mentioned Lorch and Bacon. That's what they do well, rush the passer.
Wilbert Montgomery, outstanding running back, but not today. Averaging 3 yards a carry. Riggins has carried 15 times for 110 yards. And it's 2nd and 3 from the 34. Second man, Ike Forte, but he runs into a group. He barely got it back, maybe to the line of scrimmage.
This is all the Redskins really have to do now is keep the clock moving, run the football, don't take chances, don't give them a break to get back in here. You got the game won. Here's Joe Lavender talking to Peters. That shows good togetherness. That's what the Redskins have. That's why they're winning. One of the reasons they're winning.
Lavender missing the ball game with a bad knee, and Tony Peters has done a marvelous job as his replacement. At halftime, it is Dallas 17, St. Louis 13. 3rd and 1 now from the 36, and it's Ike Forte trying to get outside Logan, and does, and runs out of bounds. Randy Logan came up from his free safety spot to try and get him, and he just ran out around him. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. In case you're wondering about the last time the Eagles were blanked, it was September 25th, 1977, when the Rams blanked Philadelphia in Los Angeles. It was 20-0 that afternoon. It is 17-0 today. 1st and 10 from the Washington 38. Play action fake to Riggins. Theismann deep to Danny Buggs. No good. Herman Edwards along with Wilson there to pick him up going down.
Well, that's a pretty good call. Safe. You got a bomb. It's either incomplete or a long gain. This is a better Eagle team than that one that was blocked out by the Rams. This is a good football team. They're not playing their game today, and the Redskins have dominated them on every aspect of football: offense, defense, special teams.
Atlanta had beaten the Eagles 14-10, and from the looks of things, Washington will beat them today. Houston beat Washington, and the Eagles beat Washington. They're going to wind up the day each 6-2. So 2nd and 10 from the 38. Play action fake and a keeper by Theismann, and he spun away from Jerry Robinson, the rookie. It didn't make any difference. Robinson was picked up by the rest of the team at the 40-yard line.
Well, that looked like a broken play. They don't want Joe to be carrying the ball in this situation. There's an old pro, one of our captains over the years in L.A. and with the Redskins, calls all the defensive line stunts, studies, prepares himself. Good
by the
man.
name of Dyron Talbot.
Dyron Talbot, number 72 from the University of Texas.
So 3rd and 8 from the Redskin 40. They have their passing backfield, so to speak. Hardiman and Harmon in there. McDaniel is right and Buggs left, but they go on the ground this time. And Hardiman spins almost up to the 45. So that's the first time they have run the ball with Hardiman and Harmon in the backfield. Another frustrating story. Harold Carmichael. He has caught a pass in 103 consecutive games, but not today. And there's only 5:54 left in the game. Mike Bragg will be kicking. Wally Henry will be deep, standing on the Eagle 15-yard line. Monty Coleman looks like the man on the right side, and now he's being called back by Don Hobart to line up. Looked like he was going to be the one sprung to get down after Henry. We need him and hold everything. A busted play, and we'll wait for the call. We have 5:30 left in the game. Washington 17.
Delay of the game.
Eagles
Offense,
nothing.
number 4.
That's, again, good football. Use as much of the clock as you can.
There you can see the Redskin defensive unit. Lord 65, Talbot 72, Brooks 69, Lord 71, Butt 65. Boy, have they put on a show. 77, Joe Jones.
That's a good defensive line, Ben.
What a job.
They're all experienced.
The only other fellow who should be down there, we haven't seen him, is Coy Bacon, but he's probably resting off in the corner.
Looks like the Eagles are going to try to block it.
4th and 8. Bragg will be kicking inside his own 30. Henry standing on the Eagle 20. 5.5 minutes left in the game. And a usual high punt. Fair catch by Henry. The ball caught at the 25. And that's where they'll put it in play because the flag on the play. Twice today we have had an ineligible man downfield, and it might yet be another. We'll wait. Chuck Heberling.
Ineligible receiver, number 66, down the field.
That's Ted Fritsch, the veteran snapper for Washington. You would think of all the people on the line, the snapper would be the last man to be first down.
Well, the Eagles faked a block and then came off, and everybody else got held up, figuring they were going to put the punt block on, and nobody touched Ted. Normally, he's not.
Ineligible man down the field, number 66, offense, 4th down.
So 4th and 13. The ball is spotted on the 35-yard line.
Normally, Ted's not the first man down the field.
Well, Mike Bragg kicking to Wally Henry again. And another one up in the sky, and it makes Henry retreat. No fair catch at the 15, however. And he bumps into his own man, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. He bumped into Larry Barnes, and down they went. So with 5 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game, Washington 17, Philadelphia nothing.
Spread your wings. Introducing the new 1980 Thunderbird, a Thunderbird of new contemporary size that shows its elegant heritage wherever you look. And with its new size and a new 4.2-liter engine, this Thunderbird has excellent estimated gas mileage and also offers the first automatic overdrive option built in America, a new engineering breakthrough. The new size Thunderbird, a better idea for the 80s.
How great is JCPenney's MCS 35-watt system stereo sale? Just look at the figures. An amplifier that delivers 35 watts of power, only $200. An extremely sensitive AM/FM tuner, just $160. 2 acoustically balanced 3-way speakers, only $280. The total, an unbelievable $399. That's right, $640 worth of components, only $399 when you buy the 35-watt package at JCPenney. It figures.
Tonight on CBS starts with the award-winning 60 Minutes. Then the Laughs with Archie Bunker's plays One Day at a Time, Alice and the Jeffersons, followed by Trapper John M.D. Tonight, right here on CBS.
Then Mike Bragg's punting average today is 44.2, and he hasn't been forced to kick a ball out of bounds. Tremendous job.
You can understand when you see how high he kicks and why Washington's coverage is so good.
4.7, the last kick.
1st and 10, the ball in play on the Eagle 20, 17-0 Washington. 5:11 left in the game. Montgomery and Barnes are the running backs. Jaworski gunning it to Carmichael, and that keeps the string alive. If nothing else, they get it out across the 45, and they made it look so easy. I wonder why that didn't happen 15 times
That's
today.
right, but it seems that way. This is a crossing pattern. Jaworski has the time to throw. Puts it right on the button, right in stride. Let the big guy run with it.
You know, I'm amazed. That's the first time that Carmichael ran a crossing pattern all day.
Yes, it is, Ben.
Well, 1st and 10 on the 46. 4.5 minutes left in the game. Both backs go out, so Jaworski on his own and completes it to Charlie Smith. He beat Lamar Parrish at the 40-yard line.
You know, I like Charlie Smith, 85. He's a good receiver. He's got the speed to go deep. I think he's a player that has been underrated. He does his job. He doesn't get much acclaim. We always felt that when we played Philadelphia, we had to stop Carmichael first and Smith second.
He was waived by the Rams as a free agent picked up by the Eagles in '74. 6-year man out of Grambling. 1st and 10 from the 40. Carmichael left and Smith right. The backs flare, And Jaworski trying to alley-oop it to Krefli, and he stumbles, but he's going to go in. Keith Krefli, the tight end, touchdown.
Well, this shows me something with Jaworski. He took something off on this. Instead of trying to rifle it in there, he laid it up and over. Watch that ball.
And watch Kenny Houston stumble after the catch.
And Kenny jumped for it. Because of the perfectly thrown ball, he had no chance to get it.
So the Eagles avoid the blanking with 4:17 left. They get on the boards to make it 17-6 Washington. Tony Franklin is 16 out of 17 in points. He missed a conversion opening day against the Giants. Bare foot, the right foot. The spot, the hold, and the kick is good. So with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game, Washington 7.
I never worry about what brand name part my mechanic puts on my car. That doesn't make me a bad guy. I go to a professional mechanic I can trust, so I trust the parts he uses. He uses Mopar. It means nothing to me, but it means a lot to him. Mopar fits all American-made cars, foreign cars too, and they're used by professional mechanics all over the world. If the professional trusts Mopar, I trust Mopar. Does he make me happy? He makes it his business.
Trust your car to Mopar.
Trying.
Avis built its business on one simple thing: trying harder.
Keep on trying, America. The effort is really everything. We keep on trying, America. At Avis, we don't give up. Trying.
By trying harder, we changed an entire industry. We're not about to give it up now.
Deborah Raffin is the girl that knows who murdered a plane load of people, but no one will believe her, and the killer is coming for her. Mind Over Murder, Tuesday at 9.
4:17 left in the game, 17-7 Redskins. Tony Franklin missed a field goal attempt earlier, remember, from about the 37-yard line. And now with his bare foot, we'll see whether it's an onside kick or not. 4:17 left, and the Eagles down by 10. Nope, he'll thump it. It'll be handed on the 1-yard line, and Hardiman taking it out to the 15, to the 20, across the 25. Blackmore finally pushed him down, grabbing him up around the shoulders.
Did you notice Hardiman hesitate on that like he...
Yeah, he looked at to see whether he was in the end zone.
Down it. I wonder how Franklin will kick in zero weather.
I was wondering this. Why and how in the world does anybody learn to kick a football barefoot?
He's kicking that ball with the ball of his foot.
But even so, why not the ball of your shoe?
Yeah.
First and 10 on the Redskin 29. 4:05 left in the game. Thompson is inside Bugs in the slot right. Here comes Ike Forte with Dean blocking ahead of him, and he picks up a couple.
Here's where you want two hands in that football. The defense is going for the ball, trying to dislodge it, force a fumble. No mistakes in here, offensively.
Danny Bugs comes out. John McDaniel comes in. 2nd and 6 on the 33.
Safe plays, very little ball handling. Keep the clock running.
Theismann brings him up with Riggins and Forte, McDaniel and Thompson in the slot right, and Warren is shaken loose, the tight end wide left, and Riggins fighting his way shy of the 40-yard line, but John making sure. Robinson finally bringing him down.
John's been the difference today. John's ability to make yardage when he's hit, when there isn't a hole, has allowed Joe to throw and keep the threat of a run, cut down the Eagles' rush.
He needed 15 yards today to move past Ken Willard into the 12th place on the NFL history list. And, of course, as he really moved on 15 yards, he has 112.
You know, an interesting thing, man, is that Riggins is an excellent pass receiver also. And I don't believe he's caught a pass this year. If he has, maybe it's just one.
Well, we just tell you, Coach, In reception, John Riggins. I hate to shoot you down.
1.
He's caught 10.
10? Oh.
Yep.
Well, they don't use them much anymore. They use Malone and, Harmon and...
Hardiman.
Hardiman in there.
3rd and 1 from the 38. 3:19 left. 17-7 Washington. They will wind up with identical records of 6 and 2 if Washington can win the game. And, of course, they're just taking all the time in the world to eat up the clock. Harmon on a wing. Forte and Riggins the running back. And it'll be, whoo, what a hit did Riggins take right at the line of scrimmage.
I don't think he made it.
Oh, what a crack.
Gee, what contact. Charlie Johnson.
You could hear it way up here. That was a hard one.
Maybe we can see that again. They knew who was going to carry the ball. 3rd and 1, you only give it to one guy. Watch Charlie Johnson, 65, getting rid of the blocker.
In fact, it was Jerry Robinson who hit him first, and he's the rookie.
Yeah, Jerry Robinson from UCLA.
Yeah, big play for him.
Oh, they diagnosed that perfectly. Someone else.
So there goes John Riggins. He was belted on that carry. And 4th and 1, Mike Bragg will be kicking from his own 25. Wally Henry trying to bust one, or at least give Philadelphia excellent field position. And we only have 2:33 left in the game. And Bragg hangs it up in the sky. And Henry makes the reception, gets by Harris for the minute, slowed down by Fritsch, and down he goes at the 26-yard line. So Harris was first down, and again the center, Ted Fritsch, was number 2 man on the scene. He got down there in a hurry. Well, it's the great pumpkin Charlie Brown who'll be here in a hurry tomorrow night on CBS. Then Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids Halloween special, followed by MASH, WKRP in Cincinnati, and Lou Grant. All on CBS Monday night.
What a job Mike Bragg has done today punting. That's the type of kick you like to cover. Everybody can be down there on that.
I'm surprised. That Wally Henry, he looks at Bragg's punt as we look at Mike, and then has to gamble to hold on to the football. And he's been able to do it, but no real return. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 27. Jaworski to Krefli, his tight end, and they push him back to the 35. He was awfully close to a first down when he made the reception, and then they hammered him back.
Well, the Redskins are playing loose and deep. Mark Murphy made the tackle on that one.
And there's Benny Malone getting the feel of the leather. Malone, of course, scored the touchdown early in the game. As we come to the 2-minute mark, Washington 17, Philadelphia 7, and the Eagles have a 1st and 10 on their 37.
Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for special friends. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob.
Every weekend is really a little vacation at the end of the week. And doesn't that call for Michelob?
Weekends were made for Michelob. Yeah.
The car, the 1980 Mustang. The place, Ford's Test Track, Dearborn. Mustang proves itself a sports car for the 80s. The U.S. Auto Club tested Mustang for acceleration, for cornering, for steering response, for braking, for overall driving performance. The result, Mustang is certified by the U.S. Auto Club as a sports car. Sports car performance, impressive fuel economy. That's Ford Mustang, a sports car for the 80s.
With 2 minutes remaining in the game from RFK Stadium in Washington, this is Ben Scully along with George Allen. The Skins leading the Eagles 17-7. The Eagles in possession 1st and 10 on their own 37-yard line. It's been a bruising ball game. The bulk of the work has been done on the ground for Washington. 112 yards all alone for John Riggins. Joe Theismann has passed for 136, and Tampa Bay has passed by Green Bay, our first final of the day, 21-3. 1st and 10 from the 37. Jaworski getting a little time, throwing off the hands of Peters and out of bounds. Tony Peters almost had an interception.
Yes.
The pass intended for Keith Krefli.
Well, that's that same type of crossing pattern with a tight end, and Peters had position on him. That ball should have been intercepted.
Krefli, of course, caught the pass that led for the only touchdown. And there's the sign saluting Tony Peters, and he's done a fine job. Peters picking up the slack. Joe Lavender out. And Tony Peters, 5 years out of Oklahoma.
He got a big sack last week against Cleveland.
So 2nd and 10 from the 37. Talking about sacks, Jaworski has been sacked 6 times today. Lobbing it, it's picked off by Peters. Well, they tried it again, and Keith Krefli brings him down. So the first time it got off Peters' hands, the second time he caught it.
Same pass.
So we show the sign again. With Peters in 23, the Skins will win, and they certainly have locked it. For Jaworski, he has thrown 2 interceptions, and he's been sacked 7 times.
No chance. He had him good position right in front of Krefli. Then 26, Harris had him deep, so they had him covered front and back.
So Tony Peters picking it off. And the Skins have it now, 1st and 10 on their own 44. And a minute and 44 left in the game, so 44 Riggins will carry it to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard. That interception was the first by Tony Peters. Lamar Parrish picked off 1 today to give him 7. Our thanks to our producer, Perry Smith, and to our director, Tony Verna, to Dr. Bob Woods, keeping the stats, and for all those folks who have helped to bring you the ball game and bring you Washington's victory over the Eagles. With 1:17, we have 17-7 Redskins leading. A minute and 12 left in the game. So Theismann taking all the time in the world. It'll be Riggins, and he is met immediately at the line of scrimmage. Charlie Johnson, number 65, hitting him. He's played a good game, but it's not enough. One of the big keys, in contrast, would be Washington's rush of the passer and the Eagles' non-existent rush.
No question about it. They did a great job of stopping the Eagles' running game. They shut it off completely. They could play pass, defense, run stunts, and dog. And Jaworski has been on defense.
The crowd saluting the Redskins. 3rd and 7 from their 47. Theismann gives to Harmon almost too late. Charlie Johnson was almost there to take the handoff. There's Charlie. Boy, did he burst through. But it's too little too late. You got 12 seconds left. The Redskins say let the clock run. That'll do it. So it is history. It was all Philadelphia 2 weeks ago, and it is all Washington today. And the Redskins and the Eagles now have an identical record of 6 victories and 2 defeats. And as George Allen said, and the words really hang in the air, it is so very, very difficult for one team to beat another twice. Darren Talbert showing how happy Washington is. The NFL on CBS will be back after this word from your local station.
California is about to crack down on a doctor involved in what the state says could be the biggest medical fraud ever. But the doctor is still practicing. How come? Watch 60 Minutes tonight at 7, 6 Central and Mountain on CBS.
You are looking at the strong visage of one John Riggins, 30 years old, 9 years out of Kansas. Going into the ball game, Wilbert Montgomery's name was on everybody's lips, and coming out of it, it's John Riggins. 18 carries, 112 yards. John, congratulations.
Thanks, Vince. I can tell you right now, though, that a lot of those yards I owe to the offensive linemen. We had a little bit different scheme today than we had 2 weeks ago up there. I suppose you noticed we run the veer play where we start like we're going to go outside and then we cut it back. And that play probably got as many yards as all the rest of them put together.
Well, 2 weeks ago, you ran for 115 yards, veer or no, against Philadelphia.
Right. Makes you think I'd want to play Philadelphia every week, but that isn't quite true. They got a good defense. But the 34, I suppose if you go at it right, you can make yards on the ground, which we were fortunate enough to do today.
And going back through your own personal history books, you also ran for your highest total, 97 yards in one game last year against guess who?
Right, the Eagles. I load up with buckshot for the Eagles.
I tell you what, you're going to have your picture on the walls of the post offices at Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Now, let's get back to that 3-4. George Allen is right here. John, I know he'd like to talk to you.
John, congratulations. Heck of a game.
Thanks, George. I haven't heard this voice for a while.
Yeah. What? You look like you're in good shape. What are you weighing?
Just right at 230, maybe a little under. I was sick this week, and so I lost a couple extra pounds because of that, and I had planned on getting my weight down a little bit. I had been over 230 by just a little bit, and I'll tell you what, the condition down here today, I imagine it was 80 degrees plus,
yes.
And I'm glad I didn't have the extra weight.
Well, your running really made the difference. I think your ability to run the football and pick up yardage allowed Joe to fake to you with the play action and then throw the football and not be rushed.
Yeah, well, that's the way. I'll tell you what, though, ideally, I think we'd like to get our halfback to get a few more yards so it would take the pressure off myself and Joe as well. Although, in the second half, it seemed, I'm not sure, Benny was doing a good job, and Ike Forte came in and did a heck of a nice job for us. So if we can get the halfback running and get as many yards as the fullback, we're going to be tough down the stretch.
Well, John, your totals were 120 yards in 19 carries. Benny Malone, 24 yards in 12 carries. But what's your high? Do you keep track of how many carries you have in a game?
Well, my high will probably come in about another hour after the ball game. We'll have a few beers out in the parking lot, I'm hoping.
Don't blame you. 19 carries, even though you were feeling poorly at the start of the game and on a hot day.
Yeah, it was. It's terribly muggy down here, and I suppose the heat isn't as bad as the humidity can be sometime. And being in Washington, this is a humid area, and it took its toll. And I think that even the Eagles felt a little bit of this heat today.
John, I brought out that I felt you were one of the best pass receivers in the league as a running back, as a fullback, and that you hadn't caught many passes this year.
Right. Well, the way we're working it now, and believe it or not, I kind of like it. I get to come out on third down, and on a day like today, I particularly appreciated it, because if I'd had to go the whole game, you may have to be doing this interview from the trainer's room while I'm packed in ice.
Hey, John, maybe this is an unfair question, but after all, it was in the headlines here in Washington and maybe in Philadelphia as well. In preparing for this game, Jack Pardee was accusing the Eagles of holding in the line. Then Vermeil said, oh, Jack doesn't have any class, or I thought he had more class. They were talking about holding elbows. And we were trying to figure, well, maybe Pardee was just trying to pump you fellas up. And then the first holding call on a running play was against Washington.
Right. Well, that's what they call psychological warfare. And I don't know whether it worked or not. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, when you start something like that, it happens just as you said. You point out the other team's faults, and you end up getting caught for what you was hoping they were going to catch them for.
Well, that's what we brought out, John.
Was it a very emotional game? Going in, Pardee said playing the Eagles is like playing Dallas. And in the first sequence, there were a couple of punches thrown right away. Was it more so than usual?
No, I don't think so. I think we had a quiet type of confidence amongst the team where we didn't need to get ourselves so roused up and, be inclined to, say, start throwing a few fists on the field. I would like to think we went about our job as bricklayers or whatever. We were very methodical. We knew what we wanted to do, and we tried to do it, and from the score, I think we did.
George said that it's almost impossible to beat another team twice, and that certainly held up today.
Especially at home. And, of course, we lost the game up there, and I don't know, I guess all the experts always figure that home field is worth 7 points.
Well, our congratulations to John Riggins. Our thanks for the visit. Final score, 17-7, Washington.
Thank you.
I learn a lot about this hotel by walking around like a guest.
Meet Carl Hurd, manager of Ramada O'Harian in Chicago. He puts a lot of emphasis on people. He even lives here in his own apartment. And because this Ramada is also Carl Hurd's home, travelers find it's a nice place for them to live, too.
Nice people taking care of nice people. Ramada, all over the world.
Hey, Corvallis, Oregon. Who introduced the radial tire?
He did.
Hey, Lexington, Kentucky. Who makes only radial tires?
He does.
He's the Michelin Man. And at Michelin, we put you first. That's why we won't make a second-best tire. Because the only thing more important than our tires are the people who ride on them.
Hey, Independence, Missouri, who's the fastest growing tire company in America?
Michelin.
At Michelin, we put you first.
How great is JCPenney's MCS 35-watt system stereo sale? Just look at the figures. An amplifier that delivers 35 watts of power, only $200. An extremely sensitive AM/FM tuner, just $160. Two acoustically balanced three-way speakers, only $280. The total, an unbelievable $399. That's right, $640 worth of components, only $399 when you buy the 35-watt package at JCPenney. It figures.
Tampa Bay got a big day from Doug Williams, who passed and also ran for a touchdown. Chester Markle kicked a 42-yard field goal with 2 minutes left in the third. That's all Green Bay got today. A final score, Tampa 21 and Green Bay 3. Baltimore and Buffalo. You know, Buffalo has suddenly fallen upon poor times. They've been having trouble scoring. There they are in the fourth, and this time, Joe Ferguson passing for a touchdown. Buffalo moving out in front on a field goal by Mickemeyer, and they now lead Baltimore 13-7 in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati and Cleveland, and of course that game has everybody in Ohio up in arms. Cleveland now leading by 8, 28-20 in the fourth. It looked like Brian Sipe was going to have a particularly big day. So far he's holding his own. Miami and New England. On a 15-yard pass from Steve Grogan to Roy Jarris, New England leading Miami 21-13 in the fourth quarter. Miami actually led in that game 10-0. The New York Jets with a handy lead of 28-13 over Oakland. The last bit of scoring, a field goal by Jim Breach. 28-13, Jets leading Oakland in the fourth. Chicago and Minnesota. They have moved into the third quarter, and Chicago leading 14-10. Their last touchdown for the Bears was a pass from Bob Avellini to Walter Payton. 14-10 Bears in the third. New Orleans, and they'll be here at RFK Stadium next week to go against Washington, and they're getting ready. New Orleans 17, Detroit nothing in the third, so Archie Manning, Chuck Muncie, Tony Gilbreth and company having a big day. And in a wild one at halftime, Dallas leading St. Louis 17-13, despite a 108-yard run back by Roy Green of Houston. Washington 17, Philadelphia 7.
Hello, I'm Chuck Connors, and this is Tin Can Alley. An exciting new electronic target game that truly tests your marksmanship from as far away as 25 feet. But Tin Can Alley is safe because it only shoots a beam of light that's as safe as a flashlight. Well, even a rifleman sometimes misses. Tin Can Alley, for real target practice at home, from Ideal.
A surprising message to Rolaids users. Tums neutralizes 1/3 more acid than Rolaids. Watch this familiar demonstration. 1 Rolaids and 1 Tums tablet are added to stomach acid. Both neutralize the acid. But on those occasions, when your stomach has even this much more excess acid, Tums can still absorb it. Rolaids can't. Because tablet for tablet, Tums neutralizes 1/3 more acid than Rolaids. For acid indigestion and heartburn, take Tums.
Here's a great Radio Shack bargain for people on the go. A take-along realistic entertainment system. It's an AM/FM radio for music and news, a cassette tape player. With this built-in mic, I can record lectures, meetings, even personal notes anywhere. Right now at Radio Shack, it's only $59.95. That's $30 off. Realistic radio recorder, like having a take-along entertainment system. Now sale price, just $59.95 at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Washington beat Philadelphia 17-7, but that's history now. And talking about history, George, I'm sure you can't come to RFK Stadium without thinking of the past. If I said to you, Washington, RFK, is there one game that comes to mind?
Yes, Vinny, immediately. We beat Dallas when they were world champs, 26-3. Dominated, held them to about 140 yards total offense. Kilmer had a big day, Roy Jefferson, Charlie Taylor, and our defense, and put us in the Super Bowl.
I imagine when you come back here, the ghosts of Christmas past, so to speak, are all over the place.
Well, these fans are great, and they give the team a standing ovation, and There's something special about RFK Stadium.
Well, among other things, a sellout, 92 consecutive sellouts, and as you said, it was apparent from the beginning that Washington was sky high and Philadelphia was flat, so I guess the fans in Washington should get another tribute. They certainly had a part to do with the victory.
Well, they stopped the Eagles' running game, and that was the core of the defense.
That's about the story from RFK Stadium in Washington. The final score, Washington 17 and Philadelphia 7.
The NFL Today is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, brewers of Michelob beer. Weekends were made for Michelob. And by Avis, the We Try Harder car rental company. The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.